Okay, now in this video we're gonna be watching react to video. The truth about Paimon is much bigger than we thought. Video will be linked in the description. It's about 36 minutes, probably longer with how much this is gonna take. But yeah, I saw this video, but I saw another video. I looked up Paimon, Genshin Impact Paimon. This video came out, and I thought this video had an more interesting thumbnail. Maybe I'll watch the other video thingy. But like right now, this video had more interest from and the title got me hooked, so I wanted to watch this first, or react to this first. Either way, I really did like. I'm enjoying the fact that we're getting more Paimon lore. Like people already knew she probably had something to do with Celestia. People thought she was like the unknown god. I think that might have been Asmodee who we met at the start. I don't know about Asmodee, but either way, the sustain of heavenly principles. Like people thought she was the sustainer of heavenly principles, right? The one we met, the unknown god we met at the start of the game. That, from what it seems, not to be true, unless obviously, like the rulers, the ruler of death or of life or whatever, cannot sense or even like don't even know of Paimon at. Like, for the fact that they can't even really see through her. They only know that she has celestial energy and a creation of celestial, but they don't know exactly know her entirely. That's the only way I can see that being true, maybe. Or she probably is some powerful higher up in, I would assume, the celestial, but even the rulers can't see through her. That makes more sense, to be honest. Anyway, let's get into it.
We finally have a much clearer idea of what the Sarita plans to do when she reaches the heavenly principle.
Oh, yeah?
We now know what the Fatui
Yeah.
are building.
We do.
Stopping their ultimate weapon from being completed.
Yeah, the curse of death.
Exactly what Paimon is?
I feel like Paimon's gonna play a bigger role in Act 3 and 4, and I will say I think we're about 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks? 3 weeks, I think, or even longer. I don't know. We're about a month off at the very least until the next Genshin update, and it feels so long. Like the wait is so long now. I'm so excited for Season 9 of other acts. So like I'm super stoked to react to the other acts, and I believe in literally like a week and a bit we're gonna probably get the live stream like we do. We normally get like about a couple of days after the banner resets, like for a new banner. So. Wait, I didn't, like, when I watched people's reaction, I skipped the parts that I find interesting, right? Did not know the author said Paimon's Perohero's dad, aka the Justice dad.
Over 500 years ago, brought before King Irmin and Conria, and Renova literally calls her a creation of Celestia, which raises a much bigger question. What exactly is Paimon? What was Paimon before Pero summoned her? And why does Renova insist that...
I will say, considering she said she's a creation of Celestia, there is probably more there's probably more Paimons, aka more beings like Paimon. Maybe Paimon's obviously made herself into like a creation of Celestia, and she is like Asmodee or whatever. Actually, I think it's the one that's I'm missing. So she could clearly be Asmodee, but she's turned into a form that regular people see in Celestia. I will say, if Celestia ever becomes playable, or we ever go to Celestia, whatever, we could potentially see multiple Paimons, as I would assume Paimon has, like, what this has a whole, like, race behind it, right? Like how we see LaFay, etc.
Has no authority when almost everything about this reveal feels like it's setting her up to become extremely important to the heavenly principles themselves.
Probably, but at the same time, it could just be literally like she's part of Celestia, and they have to use her for the weapon like to fully work or something.
But Paimon isn't the only mystery Snezhnaya just cracked open. We also finally learned what Renova's Curse of Death actually does, and it completely changes the way we should look at Celestia's control.
Do we know of the Curse of Death before this? I don't think we do. We only know of it now. But like, it also means that Conria probably fell to the same thing, most likely.
Control over every single human civilization in Teyvat. Today's video is a recap and theory breakdown of Acts 1 and 2 of the Snezhnaya Archon quest. We're going through all the biggest reveals, what they actually mean for the story, and the theories they open up.
I wish we saw more of Elisha after the whole reveal of him being Renova.
And of course, the
Or Renova impersonating him.
Paimon lore we just got. And what I think all of this could finally reveal about Paimon's true purpose in Genshin's story. There's a lot to unpack here, and some of these reveals completely change how we should look at mysteries Genshin has been building for years. Throughout the Archon quest, we've seen how Project Ninja is affecting Snezhnaya. The nation is already struggling with its harsh environment.
Thing is, I don't know why. For example, Dainsleif never seemed like he realized who Paimon was, so there's a chance he was only to the distance the king, and maybe Vezdemir that they knew who she was. Well, maybe Dainsleif didn't actually meet her. Maybe that's something see Dainsleif we have a talk about.
She's willing to let people hate her if she believes what she's doing will benefit them in the long run. Even the Kuvaki Experimental Design Bureau and Nodcry were part of it, but the Tui's Kuvaki research was a facade. Its real purpose was to use Nodcry's resources and research to construct Mistletoe.
I will say, her stuff makes no sense. It's to believe that what she's doing will protect them in the long run, right? It's not a guaranteed, but what you're doing now is also making people suffer. And like I said, you're getting to heavenly principles. Realistically, them principles wouldn't intervene with you, obviously, unless you already threaten them or go pro. They would only intervene with you and not intervene with the people of Snezhnaya. So in that theory, it's actually basically will help them in the long run. But yeah, I am bringing the heavenly principles and the rules to Snezhnaya because I want to overthrow them. Yeah, sure.
Specifically designed for what
I hope I do like the streets and when we meet her, because I am really hyped for it. I feel like the fairy against that side I might not like, but it depends on her personality completely.
So imagine a gun without ammo or a cannon without a cannonball, and we actually get to see what it looks like. Am I crazy, or does it look suspiciously similar to the weapon the student was holding in the Sudden Snow teaser when she...
I didn't realize that, but yeah.
With a much bigger question. How do you build a weapon capable of fighting the heavenly principles? Of killing a god? Because apparently having enough elemental power isn't the answer. Piero specifically tells us that the heavenly principles is already accustomed to fighting the power of the light realm. So first we need to understand what that actually means. What is
that probably was if they're accustomed to fighting the power of light realm, I assume there was a war ever.
Established humanity's current world order in Teyvat. It's the realm associated with the dragons, Vaishak.
Oh yeah, the whole dragon stuff. Okay, makes sense.
Elemental forces. The light realm basically existed way before the heavenly principles came to Teyvat.
So before they literally took people's homes, sure.
With elemental currents, the human realm created by the heavenly principles and associated with ley lines, and the void realm, which is the abyss and has its own dark currents. And there's another really important distinction here. Modern elemental energy isn't exactly the same as the original elemental power of the light realm. When the heavenly principles created the human realm, they shaped that power using phlogiston as a base. According to the Lord of the Night, this new system worked better in the human realm and was also designed to fight the abyss more effectively.
I will say, after this, I think we will kill Renova, as she's the only one we've actually encountered, I believe. Obviously, Reindl does probably knows of us, but she's the only one we've actually encountered, meaning we will probably kill her, and then after that, the other rulers and the heavenly principles will be on the move, and we'll start to intervene more into that as a whole. And I will say the abyss will probably play a part. Just had a look like I want to go in that store. The abyss will probably have a part to play in that as well. I don't want to pause too much because it's a 5-minute video.
Here in Teyvat, the heavenly principles' most dangerous ability appears to be authority over the rules themselves. The heavenly principles is the first descender, and descenders are beings who transcend above Teyvat's laws and are capable.
Oh yeah, I forgot. She's the first descender.
Goes even further, describing them to the idea of a will capable of rivaling an entire world. They can create a world, protect a world, sustain a world, and destroy a world. So Mistletoe's power source has to be something something that can go toe-to-toe with a descender. Piero says the Fatui have turned to a form of energy.
I like a weird descender, but we're nowhere as powerful as that, and what it appears we weren't as powerful at the start.
This is the same energy Mithya has been researching at the Armory Palace. Descender power to go up against a descender makes a ton of sense. The Fatui already know that the stellar linchpins have some connection to the deceased third descender. They're reverse engineering the linchpins to extract the energy within, which they call anti-celestia
don't
energy.
understand
So
that.
what makes the third
No,
descender so
it's
special?
not that I don't understand that. It's the fact that I swear in Sandrone's like whole story thing with the event or whatever she had with Colomina, they said those like stellar linchpins were super hard to come across or whatever, or something like that. They only manifest and they don't know what manifests them, whether they only manifest for that. Maybe they're using Sandrone stuff, or maybe they found that way to recreate them, but Sandrone acted like it was super rare and super uncommon to get. So how are you using that energy?
Were created from the remains of the third descender, strongly implied by current Slajnayan lore to be a man named Satalainen.
Yeah.
During the War of Funerary Flame, Nibelung fought the Heavenly Principles for control of Teyvat. The Heavenly Principles won and defeated him, but they were severely wounded in the process. Their functions were damaged and they could no longer use their full authority to surpass Teyvat's original order. So in their weakened state, the Heavenly Principles worked with a mysterious one who came after to establish a new world order. And part of that new
The
world
one who
order
came after,
involved
okay.
7 Gnosis out of the third descender's remains. The Gnosis themselves embody the Heavenly Principles' control over Teyvat.
Oh, so it's their authority completely.
The descender
Well,
seems to let them interact with Teyvat differently from normal people. We already see that with the Traveler. They don't need a vision to use multiple elements, and changes to Airman Solar Aru don't rewrite their memories the way they do for everyone else. And that makes the third descender's connection to the stellar linchpins much more interesting. Stellar power can actually change how elemental reactions work. Stellar conduct, for example, changes the normal interaction between Cryo and Electro. That doesn't
I guess the new reaction comes into play in the lore quite a bit, doesn't it?
Gives us a clue. The third descender's power seems to operate outside the system the Heavenly Principles controls. And we've already seen what can happen when another descender enters the fight. Nibelung, strongly implied to be the second descender, returned with abyssal power and forbidden knowledge to fight the Heavenly Principles. He still lost, but the battle allegedly severely weakened the Heavenly Principles and damaged their ability to control Teyvat. This suggests that one of the best ways to fight a descender may be with the power of another descender. And that's
Okay.
exactly what the Fatui are trying to do with Mistletoe. Build a weapon capable of killing celestial gods using power connected to the third descender. The Fatui
Okay,
ultimate target
which
has
makes me
always been
like,
the Heavenly
I'm assuming we will fight the Heavenly Principles, and maybe
As long
there's a
as
chance the Saritsa ends up trying to fight us to use us because we are a descender. We are the fourth descender, probably the weakest among them, I don't know, but we are the descender.
Piero says the Gnosis will be an important bargaining chip when the Saritsa confronts the Heavenly Principles, but refuses to explain exactly what she plans to do with them because that answer belongs to the Saritsa herself.
Yeah. AKA wait until the next update.
Descender and have their lives be spared. Maybe this is a bargaining chip she'll use for Nibirius Rhine-daughter specifically. But before the Saritsa can even reach that final confrontation, there's one shade already standing directly in the way of her plan, Renova. And this brings us to
Since I like Renova, but I want her to at the same time.
At the Armory Palace had been reporting strange episodes of temporary memory loss. They would lose focus,
Yeah.
black out for a moment, and then act
Kinda
like
that.
nothing happened. Act 2 finally tells us what was actually happening. They were literally...
I would say like
Renova's
my
death
playthrough was like
was
about
the
10
blood
hours
cells
give or take
now
together
before
combined.
it could
So it's nice getting like a full review or recap.
Research and experiment.
Right now it's
Reaches the
the
point of a dangerous breakthrough the curse of death triggers. And knowing what we know now about Renova's
sorry,
curse
it's
of
my
death,
dark
these
my screen
obsessions
for that. I
with
want to go again
and
to see
eternal unchanging
how
sense suddenly
long
makes a lot
until
more sense.
like
She'd watched
the
Conrad
thing
advance too
resets.
far and lose
Normally
everything
they
to the
do a
Heavenly
live stream.
Principles. So from
I am
her
listening, by the way.
perspective, the safest way to protect Inazuma was to make sure it never progressed far enough to attract Celestia's attention in the
Oh,
suddenly makes a lot more sense.
so that's
She'd
why.
watched Conrad advance too far and lose everything to the Heavenly
That makes
Principles.
sense
So from
actually
her
a
perspective,
lot.
The safest way to protect Inazuma was to make sure it never
If-
progressed far enough to
yeah, that
attract
makes-
Celestia's attention
yeah.
in the first place. And Media gives us the clearest example of what happens when you do. While watching the performance at the theater, he suddenly
I'm gonna be honest. This means the Tory was never a threat to to like the Heavenly Principles at all, or the rules. Also, it's 5 days until the ban restarts. To the rules at all. Like he wasn't a threat. Like I'm assuming they didn't realize Irmisol were burned down. They didn't even know that part. Because if so, they would have intervened before. But they only done it. They only went there, like for the fact that because they obviously questioned if Nahida wanted to destroy Irmisol. But the fact is, they never intervened into Tori at all. But they intervened in Meteor because he had a fault. Like I said, they didn't intervene because he had a fault. He had a fault that could threaten them. Like, he's the key researcher, and he was basically gonna write down, like, you know, going to write down something that can progress the experiment and involve their civilization. Sorry, it's on talk. Involve the civilization. So, just in general, yeah.
Something out about his mistletoe research.
One sec. Okay.
Immediately tries to write it down. Before he can, the curse of death activates. Everyone nearby dies with him. The curse doesn't only kill the person who had the breakthrough, it takes the lives of everyone.
It also means
that's crazy.
that her curse of death didn't kill anyone. It probably just stopped them from progressing. Either that, because like Renova's, like, Conrad advanced so much to threaten Heavenly Principles more than Sentinel did, so maybe they developed the Curse of Death, or the Curse of Death evolved more than they saw through their mistakes, and that the fact that Conrad's technology advanced so much, they made the Curse of Death. It wasn't the original curse they had. They probably got the Curse of Death, maybe. I don't know if it's always been there or whatnot, but I would say, because like Conrad, from what seems, advanced way too much with their civilization, more than Sentinel did. So I can see like them creating, or at least like evolving the Curse of Death over time, because of that threat was super close, and they just managed to stop it while also causing great disasters.
Life. And because they don't remember what happened while they were dead, the whole thing feels like a brief blackout or a blip in your memory. That's why the Armory Palace researchers never realized what was happening to them.
Or just like asleep.
Civilizations like Conria and Hyperborea come into conflict with the Heavenly Principles, and we've seen Celestial Nails used against ancient regions. Now it seems like not every nail was simply Celestia punishing people for becoming too technologically advanced. We know the nails also have connections to suppressing abyssal corruption and forbidden knowledge. Celestia has rules that can stop human progress before it becomes a threat. That's exactly what's happening with Myth.
I love how there's also forbidden knowledge, like capsules and like summary.
But Renova's curse of death keeps stopping the next breakthrough. So if they want Mistletoe to move forward, Renova has to be eliminated. I know Project Mistletoe was probably
either that, or she'll be sealed and like her power drained or whatnot. I do hope there's a chance if Renova gets killed, the captain will be free. I know technically that's bad for him because he's actually in peace right now, but if he's free, I feel like a lot of people are going to be happy because the captain could be playable. But like I said, there's a chance. I can definitely see them doing that, the captain becoming free, being free after Renova's defeated, because obviously like the Night Kingdom runs on Renova, so the fact that like if like Renova dies, as Night Kingdom or ley lines or whatnot will probably like worsen, and the captain could be free, and I kind of hope he does get free.
Need to be defeated to even get
I hope Solzy's carrying stay there because for his own good.
Curses that will block the Saritsa from her end goal. But Renova doesn't just have the curse of death. She has another curse that does almost the exact opposite.
The curse of immortality.
The curse of
yeah, and also she seemed to be annoyed about the curse of immortality when she was when Pereiro showed up.
Temporarily kills someone, the curse of immortality denies them death completely. During the Cataclysm, Renova cursed.
It is weird, man. It's curse of death and curse of immortality are literally opposites of one another. What makes it weird why the curse of death even worked on Pereiro. Like, I'm not gonna say his name right, but it still worked on him because he was asleep for some time. It makes it weird that it even works.
All this while literally physically decaying. And Capitano is furious about one thing in particular. Most of them have nothing to do with the actions that brought this punishment down.
Yeah.
As he points out, most ordinary Conrians knew nothing about the 5 sinners exploiting abyssal power. They were punished anyway. Renova is one of the 4 shades of the Heavenly Principles. If the Saritsa and the Fatui actually managed to kill a shade just so Mistletoe can continue, then that would make Snezhnaya, the Fatui, and the Saritsa actually terrifying. And I wouldn't mind that at all for the plot. I want extremely high stakes.
I'm not gonna lie, I really do hope when we defeat Renova, I'm saying when, maybe we won't, maybe she'll actually win. I do hope when we defeat Renova she does like a Senora and starts getting angry and go rah, and then maybe dies or loses the power. That would be like so satisfying in a way because of how she's been acting.
So now put those two
That's just me.
together and the implication is huge. Konria's original bloodline came from the Tsaritsa.
Yeah, and that was revealed in a live stream.
The Tsaritsa is basically the mother of Konria. Who is the father? We don't know yet, so everything can be theory. But there is a candidate that
third descender, right?
Satalainen, the third descender.
Yeah, okay.
The 7.0 special program describes the third descender as a visitor from beyond this world who came to ancient Snezhnaya carrying a power that could suppress Tevat's normal rules. And Hymns of the Far North tells us what happened to him. Satalainen traveled to Pohjola to court the daughter of a man named Pakaisiko. Pakaisiko agreed to the marriage, but only if Satalainen opened the gates of Pohjola. Satalainen knew doing that would bring punishment from the heavenly principles. But if he refused, Pakaisiko intended to make his own daughter do it instead. So Satalainen did it for her, and the heavenly principles killed him. His body was eventually divided into 7 pieces.
That is a way to go.
The real mystery of the story is the woman he was trying to marry.
I'm not liking this whole animation background.
Story about a hero Ajax and his lover Snegurochka, the snow maiden. And the parallel.
Well, this isn't talking about Ajax. We know now.
Ajax loves Snegurochka. Even Pakaisiko's name is connected to the folklore of Father Frost, the same tale Snegurochka comes from. The Snegurochka Fae are a race born for love, and the Tsaritsa herself.
Yeah, we know about this more in the story.
So the big theory is that the Tsaritsa is the lover of Satalainen, the third descender. Meaning Konria may have descended from both.
That's been a theory for super long, I believe.
That would make Konrian blood incredibly interesting.
Because it would also make sense why she's gathering the gnosis, because it's his body.
Blood as well. The Snowland Fae were artificial light.
Okay.
Hyperborean artisans used forbidden creation methods taught by Koitar, the first angel.
I wouldn't say they're her actual children or descendants or whatever. There's probably something to play, because I doubt she gave birth to everyone there.
If proven true, that would be crazy. Because then Konrian blood literally consists of the two beings that try to defy the heavenly principles.
I will say, let's say they're descendants from the Tsaritsa, right? It makes no sense why she let, like, if she knew, let's say she knew of the Vincer King, right? It makes no sense why she would let the Vincer King continue ruling if she also knew the Vincer King was, like, killing the other descendants, right? From other certain clans who worship other moon goddesses. It makes no sense why that would be a thing. Like, why would you let the Vincer King issue orders to have them executed? Also, she probably wasn't involved in Konria at all. They are just descendants from her, and she probably literally just completely wasn't involved completely and just never talked to like them at all. But at the same time, like, if they're descendants, wouldn't you check in on them at the very least?
Merging with the world. Her dream is for humanity to rise to the level of the gods and no longer depend on Celestia. Does that sound familiar? Because thousands of years later, Konria becomes obsessed with almost the exact same ideas. Chemia was the alchemical art of creating life, and it was highly studied in Konria. This was a civilization with no god. They pushed technology, alchemy, artificial life, and abyssal research far beyond almost anyone else. And then there's the weirdest part. When Konria fell, the curse actually cared about bloodline. Clothar was a pure-blooded Konrian, so he received immortality. His son Caribert had a Konrian father, but a mother from Mondstadt. He received the curse of wilderness instead and became a Hilichurl. Clothar even says that the pure-blooded Konrians were declared the greater sinners. The curse of immortality meant that pure-blooded Konrians could never truly die. So their souls could never return to Tevat's ley lines of normal.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm taking I'm taking being a Hilichurl than being immortal. I mean, I'm taking being immortal than being a Hilichurl, because from what Caribert woke up as, he literally was terrified of his own appearance. I would take being immortal than being a Hilichurl any day. So technically, I feel like they're true sinners. But it makes no sense. If they're sinners, why would you want them to live forever for them just to redo what they did? Unless whatever you're meant to do they're meant to like slowly give up and face an endless of hope. There's just no like justifying it. Sure, they could be sinners or whatnot, right? It makes no goddamn sense why you would curse them with immortality just for them to, let's say, sin again. Like, there's no like benefit for not doing another sin. Might as well do another sin, right? Like,
the reasons Renova placed the curse on them in the first place. And if our theory about Satellinen being the Syriza,
There was probably a reason why they had to cast them with immortality or something, I would assume.
Incredibly personal. Piero says that civilization
Unless if he just activated her like the rules for her curse.
Build nations, create technology, and believe it's shaping its own future until it crosses a line. And then Celestia can simply take that future away.
Yeah.
Hyperborea was destroyed.
It's basically like living in a simulation. You never know if someone will just turn it off or whatever.
The reasons behind those disasters aren't identical, but both show what happens when civilizations come into conflict with the rules.
And we also know the sky is like fake. So everything we've been trapped in is just a fake project or like art. Isn't a fake illusion to us.
All the rules of this world are made up of
yeah, that was pretty big too.
Something like Conrain immortality or Renova's curse of death. The entire system.
3 years long lifeline, etc.
The limits placed on civilizations, the rules gods have to follow. He even describes the gods' love for humanity as something imposed upon them.
I don't know if that's just like a word of play, or if that's actually the truth. Like, did the gods not even used to love humans or whatever, or hate them for so, but they're forced to actually care for them?
I think that means Venti, Zhongli, Nahida, or the other gods secretly don't care about humanity.
Yeah.
Their feelings can still absolutely be real. I think Pierre's point is that Celestia built a world where gods are expected to govern, protect, and guide humanity
Makes sense.
according to scripture.
I like how God protects, Venti just sits in the thing drinking wine.
The Syriza wants to destroy that entire structure. The Syriza plans to seize the authority of the heavenly principles. She intends to reconstruct the entire
But then
world
we,
and
like, let's be honest here,
humanity from its
then that also means we could be under, like, the Syriza could easily just betray their reputation. Maybe she decides to become the new heavenly principles. You would never know. I might, let's say, if I'm like, for example, Aoife here, or me, depending on who you chose, I would not fully trust the Syriza, because let's say she wins, right, and she ends up becoming the new heavenly principles. There's no saying if she will just do the same thing over and over again, or become even worse than heavenly principles are, because she interferes into that as a whole and then messes with it. You would never know. I doubt she would do it. I doubt Genji would do that. Maybe Paimon was the big bag when she gets her memories back. Who knows? But like, you would never know. Like, realistically, E4, like, we know she probably wouldn't do it. But E4, you mean, doesn't. I can see us fighting the Syriza, however. I hope we do have at least like one battle with her. I doubt we will, but considering we're allies right now.
Because if one being having the power to decide the rules of the entire world is the problem, why would replacing who sits on the highest throne fix anything? The Syriza could overthrow the heavenly principles. She could remove every curse. She could genuinely build a better world, a world where free will truly exists. But at the end of the day, humanity would still be living under rules decided by one person with
that's what I just said.
This is where I think true transcendence comes into play. There are basically 3 ways to deal with Celestia. The first is obedience, accept the rules, and submit to the throne. The second is to overthrow. Defeat Celestia, take the throne, and put someone else in its place. But the third is different. Transcendence. Instead of taking the
I guess you could destroy the throne and let no one rule, but then again, the Abyss will probably invade. Like, let's say you kill the heavenly principles out and destroy the throne. The Abyss will, like the Light Realm, whatever. The Abyss will probably involve, like, the Abyss will probably win in that way.
I think this is where the Traveler and Paimon become incredibly important. Paimon is a creation of Celestia, but Renova also says something pretty strange. She says Paimon has none of Celestia's power or authority, and as she says it, the camera focuses on the crown floating above Paimon's head. Remember how Paimon started feeling sick after arriving in Snezhnaya? Piero finally explains why. The Armory Palace...
I will say, I remember Renova saying not even the Descender can hope to stop it. That probably means the Heavenly Principles, aka the first Descender, it couldn't also stop it or whatever. Like, not even the Descender can hope to stop it. So I mean, the Heavenly Principles isn't all powerful. She's still a Descender. And I feel like if we fight outside this world, like for example in Celestia, we probably will be lifted off our restrictions, I would assume. And if that is the case, that would be super sick, and we can have a full battle against Heavenly Principles.
Celestia energies the missile team, and Paimon was reacting to it specifically because she comes from Celestia. So if Paimon is from Celestia, how did Paimon even get to Teyvat in the first place?
Oh, we know this.
Piero was actually actually the person
I've seen so many animated stuff for this now. Like, yeah, just pulling him down, her down.
fragments of the eternal moon down into Nodcry. But Piero reveals that this technology is much older than that. Its first use was over 500 years ago in Conria by Piero. He aimed the technology toward the heavens, hoping to pull something down. Celestia answered, and what came down was Paimon. Piero then brought it to King Irmin, apparently hoping such a huge discovery would finally impress him. It didn't. Irmin had no interest in Paimon, so she ended up living in Piero's place until the Cataclysm. Which is crazy because there's a huge chance Paimon and the Traveler's sibling actually met. And after that, we have no idea what happened to her. There's a
high chance.
gap in Paimon's story.
Listen, I don't know if this was fully, like, this plot was fully developed, because it didn't seem like Lumine knew her at all. But maybe she also just didn't want to let on anything. And so was Dane, maybe.
Before she came down. One possibility is simple. Celestia created Paimon, Piero pulled her down shortly afterward, and she really was new. But there's another possibility. Paimon may have existed in Celestia long before that, only to arrive in Conria with none of her old knowledge or memories. But if Paimon was the creation of Celestia, why was she created? Theory. Traveler is the reason why Paimon was created. Paimon was specifically created to watch over the...
Or what, by Lumine? Or Learning Principles?
Power or authority. For now. You know, we can't really trust what Renova says. But I think the Traveler might be the biggest clue to what Paimon would...
The fact that Renova wanted to take her and just not, like, destroy her or something, because maybe she's been corrupted by people, so why would you want to keep her alive? Because you wanted to take her, it could easily be the fact that there is something going on there. I do kind of believe that, so I'm not surprised.
Actually made for. The biggest problem Celestia has is not only the Abyss, but also Descenders. Descenders exist outside Teyvat's normal systems. The Traveler is the fourth Descender, and unlike everyone else, they weren't affected by changes to Irmin's soul, now Ari. When Bruca Devata was originally...
I forgot it's called Ari now.
But the Traveler didn't.
Completely before they replaced it.
Ended up traveling with a Descender. That creates an interesting possibility. What if Paimon was created to help Celestia interact with beings it couldn't fully control? We joked about this before.
I do kind of like that, but like generally speaking, I would hate for us to have to fight Paimon or have to kill her or something. There's a chance like Renova can look through.
Literally. But there's another possibility.
Becoming more and more intriguing to me exactly what Paimon could be.
Okay.
A creation of Celestia, sure, but I'm curious if she could possibly be the reason none of the ruling shades currently abide by. What has this journey truly been about?
Theory.
I don't know.
What if Paimon is the ruler of reason?
Ruler of reason?
Gives names from the Ars Goetia. It's the first book of the Lesser Key of Solomon, a 17th century grimoire describing 72 demons, their ranks, powers, and seals. Barbados, Morax, Baal, Buer, Asmodee, Nabirius, and Renova appear to come from this book, amongst many more. Then there's Paimon. Paimon having a Goetic name was always a huge clue that
Ruler
she
of reason.
to Celestia. The original
I can see
Paimon
that.
is actually pretty interesting. In the Ars
I'm trying to think of any way she reasons with anyone, because like I feel like most of the time Paimon doesn't have any reason for anything. So I'm trying to think.
And holds the rank of a He's wearing a magnificent crown, but his abilities are mostly connected to knowledge. He teaches arts and sciences, reveals hidden things, explains the nature of the world, and can even answer questions about the mind and where it exists. He's also said to belong to the angelic order of dominations. So the original Paimon is basically associated with a crown, knowledge, hidden truths, and the mind. Which, okay, if you squint, might be closely related with our Paimon. Our Paimon also has a crown floating above her head, and that crown might be one of the
But she
biggest
wise.
clues. Every artifact has 5 items: the Flower of Life, the Plume of Death, the Sands of Eon, the Goblet of Eonathem or Space, and the Circlet of Logos or Reason.
Oh yeah,
and
fair.
those first 4 line up almost perfectly with the 4 shades. Life is Nabirius, Death is Renova, Time is Istaroth, Space is Asmodee, which leaves one piece: the Circlet.
To be honest, that actually worked. I was like, my hair was like, is it true? Can it be possible? That actually works way better than I thought.
Logos, meaning reason might be associated with the heavenly principles themselves. That doesn't prove she's secretly the heavenly principles yet. But what if she's connected to the principle represented by the crown, reason? Is Paimon the ruler of reason? Logos doesn't have one simple translation. It can mean speech, explanation, account, or reason. In Greek philosophy, it can also describe the rational principle that gives order to the world. Now think about what Paimon actually does. So an alien enters Tevet and immediately ends up with a celestial creation whose entire role is literally to
Well, we don't immediately. We were walking around for like a few months or whatever.
Be what the principle of logos or reason represents. Remember when Genshin released the God's Limit teaser? The teaser introduces all 4 shades with the same strange phase. Life abides no reason, death abides no reason, time abides no reason, space abides no reason. The Chinese version uses a phrase that I think is closer to
Never made more sense that
playing fair.
I
think the point of this phrase is to highlight that life, death, time, and space don't care whether humans think they're fair. But Genshin also loves word.
I mean, Renova was clear that she doesn't care what humans think. She doesn't care if humans commit murder. It's not murder because she's the one doing it.
The one artifact, item, and principle still unaccounted for is the crown of reason. Paimon isn't currently the ruler of reason, but maybe she's supposed to be. Maybe she's some kind of vessel, creation, or embodiment of that principle without currently possessing its authority. At least, not yet. But there's another Paimon theory that might be even more obvious.
I will say, like, a lot of things I remember seeing people thinking Venti knew what Paimon was, Nahita knew what Paimon was because she can read minds. Paimon doesn't know, so I doubt Nahita knew. Okay, my mic did cut, my camera fully cut off, like, it over here. So it should be enough to finish this video on. I'm not like, so I forgot what I was talking about before, but anyway.
Because the game basically jokes about it to our face. Here, Paimon is Chinese. After Paimon learns that she came from Celestia, the Traveler's dialogue options is, as long as you're not the Heavenly Principles, we're good. Which is a very suspicious joke to make right after finally revealing Paimon's origin.
I mean, it is suspicious, but at the same time, I feel like the only one that like could make Traveler or Aether, whatever, hate Paimon would be if she's actually the Heavenly Principles who ended up separating the two, right?
Principal's name. The Frost
or causing the separation of the two.
Principal's Pitkamunen. In Chinese, that name is written like this. Paimon's Chinese name is this. Those exact 2 characters appear inside.
Could be a coincidence.
So even 6 years later, the Paimon Heavenly Principles connection is getting very hard to ignore. There are a few ways this could work. Paimon could be the Heavenly Principles in a weakened form.
Could also be something similar to the Heavenly Principles. Maybe the Heavenly Principles had a sister or something like that, and they are actually related. Or could physically be the, like, maybe, I don't know if everything Celestial is created by the Heavenly Principles or not. Maybe Paimon's like a full-on creation to the Heavenly Principles, or maybe the Heavenly Principles' daughter per se, or like a daughter to the Heavenly Principles that was kidnapped by Conria, and that's why Conria fell in the Cataclysm 500 years ago.
She could be a fragment of them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Paimon could be the next Heavenly Principles.
Yeah,
start with the simplest possibility.
That I thought of that. I don't know if I said it out loud, but I was like, that kind of makes sense. That she becomes the new Heavenly Principles as she's the only one from Celestia on our side.
That they could no longer use the absolute authority they once had over Tevat. So you could imagine something similar to what we've seen happen to other gods in Genshin. A once incredibly powerful being loses his powers, memories, and original form.
Like a new cycle of, like, basically what happened.
That would explain why she has no celestial authority now. But there's another version of this theory. Paimon could be a piece of the Heavenly Principles. This is something we've discussed before, and this theory hinges off the existing theory that the Heavenly Principles is an AI, specifically the Traveler's spaceship AI. Stay with me here.
I can see that. I will say, would never. I'm pausing on my screen. Let me mute it.
The Traveler.
I will say. Oh, what was I gonna say? I completely forgot. Come on, remember. Yeah, I don't like. Let's be honest here. The Heavenly Principles. I don't know why the rulers of the Heavenly Principles act like they can't be injured at all. I get, or do they intervene now because they're a threat to themselves and they're disposing of threats before. But like, if they once took the authority from like the dragons of this, like the dragons, and the dragons can no longer use their proper authority on the world. But if they once stole that authority from them, it makes sense that that authority can also be stolen from the Heavenly Principles and the rulers. that makes complete sense. I guess like that was eliminating a possibility for their power to be seized. Like they seized the power of this world from the people. But yeah.
Spaceship was controlled by what the game strongly implies was an extremely advanced artificial intelligence. It managed to ship for thousands of years.
I also wonder if one of the imagine there's a chance the Heavenly Principles is our parents or whatever, like that we never even knew of, something like that. Imagine this crazy plot twist. I do wonder if one of the descendants is somehow our parents. We don't even know who our parents are in this game, or if that ever will be revealed or even explored.
Genshin has now shown that information can be preserved and used to create new life, and that database life forms exist. Ninkigia
I didn't do the whole moon event, which I'm
with the moon's power of creation and produce new information-based life forms.
yeah. I haven't done the whole moon event yet.
Living beings merging with completely foreign forms of life and becoming something new.
I'm just doing it pop.
If the Heavenly Principles is some kind of artificial or information-based being, then Paimon could be an instance of it. Think of it like being part of an AI into another body.
I guess I can see the Heavenly Principles being an AI to us.
Imagination module.
It would make sense why like most of the stuff is like an illusion or it's fake, for example, the fake sky, etc.
What if?
Advert, lovely. What if you stop giving me adverts?
But once the copy's separated, it starts having its own experiences. Eventually, it becomes
About 10 minutes after this video.
And that leads us directly into the version of this theory that I've been thinking about for a while now. We touched upon this already in a previous
I do want to make sure, I want to make sure I'm not on. Okay, my mic is not on. That would have been really bad.
video, but let's expand on it with the bountiful new Snezhnaya lore. What if Paimon isn't the current Heavenly Principles? What if she was created to replace them? What if she's supposed to be the new Heavenly Principles? Right now, Celestia has a pretty serious problem. Its ruler isn't functioning properly. The Heavenly Principles never fully recovered from the War of Funerary Flame, and perhaps...
That makes sense. Especially, by the way, I love this because if you guys, like, go back on the Arkham quest when Renova's Aloysia, when we said the sleeping Heavenly Principle, right, Aloysia, aka Renova, looked away. And like she looked away and act like she was annoyed or like she couldn't say anything because she knew it was true that the Heavenly Principles isn't even active. They're like asleep or injured somewhere.
The Cataclysm. And years later, things aren't exactly improving. They're still asleep. In the God's Limits teaser, Rhine-Daughter says the Heavenly Principles have yet to awaken. And without direct orders, Renova says the Shades can only act within the existing rules. That makes Celestia sound less like this all-powerful government and more like...
Okay, so they literally... So without... I don't remember watching that teaser, but without that, the Heavenly Principles, they can't even activate their full power. So I guess... I feel like killing Renova will awaken the Heavenly Principles. Maybe the way to awaken the Heavenly Principles is to kill a Shade that will awaken her, because maybe the authority from the, like, let's see, Renova's authority will return to the Heavenly Principles or something, and that will give her enough strength to awaken, probably in a weakened state, but be awakened. And the other rulers maybe even know this, and maybe are like just, maybe they're not interfering because they know Renova's death will maybe awaken the Heavenly Principles. Maybe, I don't know. Either way, I feel like after Renova's death, the Heavenly Principles will probably be reawakened, because it makes no sense where the other Shades or the other Shades are not interfering at all. Now Rhine-Daughter basically is planning it. She's like doing chess with the Teresa. So yeah.
Computer system running without its administrator. You know how much a computer scientist in me loves the computer analogies. The rules are still there. The Shades are still doing their jobs, but the person at the top isn't responding. So what happens if the Heavenly Principles never fully comes back? You would need a successor, and Paimon's existence suddenly makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
The four Shades explicitly call themselves shadows of the Heavenly Principles. If reason belongs to the Heavenly Principles themselves, then there doesn't need to be a shade of reason. Reason is what casts the shadows, what creates the Shades. A shadow is a dark shape made when an object blocks light from a source. The shadow shows the outline of the object, but has no light or substance of its own. The four Shades may each represent only one limited part of a much greater governing principle, but none of them can see the whole picture. Reason is supposed to. And if Paimon really represents reason, this gets really poetic. The current Heavenly Principles may represent cold, absolute, godly reason. Reason to them is...
And Paimon understands humanity, so she represents like more normal human reason. Yeah.
What if she learned?
Heavenly Principles never really experienced the world, I would assume.
Think about what Paimon has actually been doing for the entire game. She's traveling through every nation in Teyvat. Mondstadt teaches her about freedom, the UA contracts, Inazuma eternity and change, Sumeru wisdom, Fontaine justice, Natlan death, sacrifice.
But she odd journey.
Naya is forcing her to confront Celestia itself. Paimon is basically being taught every major ideal that has shaped every human life in Teyvat, which makes perfect sense.
I actually don't hate this whole theory.
It tells us that when she first came down from Celestia, her consciousness was basically like that of a newborn.
Yeah.
They knew heavenly principles that hadn't learned anything yet. A literal baby.
Either like her whole personality was erased,
the most
whatever.
important thing that could have happened to her. Because look at how the current heavenly principles.
And she's probably grown compared to how she was in Conria, even a bit. Like Pereira was like, oh, you just as you are right now, but she's definitely grown pretty more serious than she was in Conria from the sound of it.
The dragons took their authorities, imposed a new world order, and governed humanity from above through strict rules, curses, and punishments. The rule was less about understanding the people of Teyvat and more about controlling the world they lived in.
Yeah.
Perhaps because the Heavenly Principles believed that strict control was necessary for Teyvat's own good. If the Heavenly Principles represents reason, then the irony is that its reason has become cold and disconnected from humanity.
Or maybe the Heavenly Principles and the Light Realm has long been like corrupted by the Abyss. And yeah, maybe that is what it is. And obviously, maybe the rulers don't know this. Maybe the Abyss has already entered the Heavenly Principles and made her judgment cold, even from like thingy or whatever. Because the Abyss plays a part. Like, for example, I'm not talking about the Abyss order, I'm talking about the Abyss as a whole, because the Abyss is a completely different entity. Like, I always used to get confused, by the way. But like, the Abyss order is just people who use the, like, you know, an order of people who use the actual Abyss. Like, Abyss of power.
Has a pretty brutal description of that system. In the Council of Gods, no one and because of that, the fate of the world is decided by beings completely removed from the people their very decisions affect. Paimon's life is the exact opposite. She isn't watching humanity from Celestia. She's living with them, eats their food, hears their stories.
I wonder if let's say Paimon ends up like becoming the new Heavenly Principles, right? Will she still visit to that? I feel like she will, but she'll probably be like a character we don't see as much as we do now. And maybe she'll become playable. Like when that happens, she'll be like get a grown up form, whatever, become playable. Maybe. Or she'll keep like a fraction of herself with us to communicate her thoughts or whatever. There's one ways. But I feel like after our journey through to that is over, we'll probably do the whole abyssal stuff, I would assume, and maybe Paimon's not with us for our journey for our sister, because that's at the end of our journey. We have to choose to leave Paimon to like journey on and help our sister, while Paimon like find out why our sister left, while Paimon retains the world's order, maybe with the help of the Tsaritsa, or maybe the Tsaritsa and that all bow to Paimon as the new ruler or whatever, and as a free ruler as Paimon see. Then again, I would never trust Paimon to rule anyone. She's like, give me all the food as offerings.
And most importantly, she loves someone who isn't from this world. Maybe that's the lesson the first Heavenly Principles never learned. Wisdom, real reason, comes from experience. Maybe that is exactly what Teyvat is missing right now. A new Heavenly Principles capable of understanding the people. And Paimon would be uniquely prepared for that role. So if Paimon eventually inherits the role of the Heavenly Principles, her empathy may be the entire point of her journey. The old Heavenly Principles could represent reason from the perspective of a god. Paimon could become reason with empathy and human experience. The Traveler and Paimon together might reach true transcendence and the true solution to saving Teyvat. The Heavenly Principles seems to believe the world requires control.
Also, to be honest, the gods of Teyvat, obviously there's multiple gods, whatever, before. To the Heavenly Principles, they're probably nothing else other than like more transcended humans who have reached more power, right? I would assume.
Must take control in order to free the world. The Traveler and Paimon's solution could ultimately be that true freedom means no one should possess that level of control in the first place. So Paimon becoming the new Heavenly Principles would only work if she becomes the last one. Or if she's the one who has to make the call whether to destroy.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like realistically the world needs like order in some way. Like obviously the rules can still be there, but like they're not obviously heavily there. for example, Renova, right? He's the ruler of death. Let's say you kill Renova. I'm obviously assuming death obviously still occurs, but maybe it spirals out of control way more and all that. But like from what Renova said, murder, for example, is when people usurp her authority. So death was still there. She just, the rule of death is when she wants to grant death or whatever. But the rule of time, I guess you can do at the rules, but like I feel like there has to be some rules intact to probably keep at the very least the abyss out, like as much as it is, because obviously the abyss is also another enemy we have to fight. I can see, let's say they destroy the throne of the heavenly principles, right? That maybe leads the abyss to invade the world once again and maybe corrupt people. Obviously it's still in the world, don't get me wrong, but like it's more controlled. Would feel like with the heavenly principles and the light realm still there.
Celestial thrones once and for all. So heavenly principles or anything like it is no.
I need to twitch so bad, so I'm like holding it in.
Concept of Paimon being the next heavenly principles a step further. Now here's a theory that's been in the back of my mind for a while now.
So let me hear it.
By the end of Genshin, everyone remembers Paimon as the person who saved Teyvat instead of the Traveler. Traveler and Sterling have been journeying between worlds. So maybe Teyvat was never supposed to be their permanent home, and eventually Traveler may have to leave for another world. The Sumeru Archon quest already showed us what happens when someone disappears from the world's memory.
If that happens, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like okay, so that's what she's going. I feel like if we leave the world, we will probably visit again because it's Genshin. There's playable characters, right? I'm sure those playable characters will continue on to Genshin 2 or whatnot, or after to that. So they would want to like reuse those assets. Unless let's say we don't no longer visit worlds, I could see Genshin killing off characters in the final act, which I'm not against, by the way. Killing off a character is okay. It will probably, killing characters I like the most will probably hurt me so much, but at the same time, it's good storytelling if it's done right.
Didn't just disappear with her. History simply reorganized itself so that Nahida was remembered as a Dendro Archon who had always done those things. The only Dendro Archon. Even Scaramouche's lore showed us something similar. You can erase the person, but the consequences of their actions remain. So history finds another explanation. Same logic.
I can see maybe how we remembered the former Nahida and Scaramouche, however. I can see Paimon being the only one to remember us. Maybe Venti and the other gods too, but like Paimon probably will be the only one to remember us. And maybe maybe after, if that actually happens, and we actually, let's say we're actually like erased or whatever. Obviously this is us leaving the world and getting erased. But let's say we're actually erased. Let's say Paimon maybe Paimon has her own arc to bring us back. How we've always saved Paimon saves us. It would be kind of fun.
Still applies even now that Aru has replaced Irminsul. And the current Snezhnaya lore may have given us another way this could happen.
Okay.
In the sudden snow teaser, Renova appears to have interfered with the Tsaritsa's memories of someone she loved. Renova is shown removing a person from a family photograph while the Tsaritsa admits she can barely tell whether that love or that life was ever real.
Oh. Did not, like, I'm assuming, I don't remember her saying that whenever. But that is something. Does she seem sandwiched to that? But I don't know why she would personally interfere with the Tsaritsa. I'm assuming this is all part of something. Why she also didn't want us to interfere in Tsaritsa's like destiny or plan or whatever, or like interfering with Tsaritsa's affairs. She definitely has something planned on why she's here, even if she's obviously just here to obviously do the custom death. But she has more involvement that we don't know yet, and hopefully we will know in the future acts, which I said before. Super excited for Act 3 and 4.
Paimon has been beside Traveler for almost everything. She was there when Mondstadt was saved. She traveled through Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru.
She wasn't there when we got stopped by the unknown god.
She witnessed nearly every major accomplishment Traveler made. More importantly, unlike Traveler, Paimon belongs to Teyvat. So if everyone's memories of Traveler were removed...
I mean, Paimon doesn't belong to Teyvat, she belongs to Celestia, but okay, sure.
Themselves would still need an explanation. Who saved those nations? Who stood beside the Archons? There would already be one person sitting inside almost every one of those memories.
Yeah, makes sense. It could also be a thing. Maybe we erase people's memories of the rulers, like the Shades or Thanes, whatever. We erase people's memory of Renova, etc.
We reconstruct history around her. Instead of remembering Traveler and Paimon saving Teyvat, everyone only remembers Paimon. She becomes the hero who traveled through all
Good, but also it could be a reverse. You know, maybe Paimon gets erased at the end of this. Who knows?
the nations, while the real person behind those deeds gets replaced in history. In a sad way, Traveler represents us moving through Teyvat. We arrive from somewhere else, spend years exploring this world, meet its people, change their lives, but eventually the journey has to end. We close the game for the final time, and Traveler leaves Teyvat for another world. Teyvat continues without us. And perhaps, as far as everyone there remembers, Paimon was their hero all along.
That's theory, but like that's only the start from what we heard about. It's not gonna be the end of like Genshin, so
His attention was already
we're still gonna follow Ava.
Traveler's sibling. King Irmin was much more interested in the Traveler's sibling, eventually naming them Conria's royal heir and savior. Years later, he would even use them as a vessel meant to absorb unlimited abyssal power. And this could finally explain one of the strangest parts of the twins' arrival in Teyvat.
Okay.
Which tells us that Conria was their first destination in Teyvat, and that they only appeared there because the heavens responded to the summoning. And according to Wanderer, that information came directly from Piero. The sibling also tells us that when they first arrived in Conria, their memory was completely blank. They slowly recovered their memories.
Oh, so like Paimon.
The spaceship the twins arrived in creates a problem. The Traveler remembers traveling through space with their sibling aboard the same vessel. It even passed by Teyvat once. When the ship returned to Teyvat, it eventually crashed and happened. The Traveler remained asleep inside, but somehow the sibling ended up
Yeah, we just slept.
ship. In fact, when the sibling finally returned during the cataclysm to wake the Traveler, they approached the spacecraft from the outside. The Traveler couldn't remember them ever leaving, and there was no obvious sign that the ship had simply been opened earlier. So how did one twin go from sleeping inside that ship to suddenly appearing in Conria? Well, Conria may have known the ship was coming. Before it returned, the Universitas Magistrorum had already tracked the twin spaceship. They calculated its orbit and reported to King Irmin that the two stars had been caught by Teyvat's gravity and that their paths were about to cross again. And who was running the Universitas Magistrorum? Roptatyr. Roptatyr was its
Roptatyr the Wise, right?
Royal mage known as the Wise, and the most favored of the four pillars serving King Irmin. He later became one of the 5
and he's obviously the only one who can see into the future, etc. And is probably the main, from what it seems, the most main sinner we're gonna probably face. Obviously Sergiology is probably a big threat too, but like Roptatyr the Wise will probably be the most like cunning of the people because he can literally see the future.
Abyssal power during Conria's fall. Piero hated how much favor Roptatyr had earned with the king. And now that we know what Piero himself was experimenting with at the time,
I do hope we see Piero versus like Roptatyr, or at least an encounter against them if obviously we continue it and he ends up dying or whatnot.
a lot more interesting. Piero had developed a way to reach toward,
or hopefully maybe he gives us more lore about Roptatyr, which we need, to be honest, to fill us in.
Celestia. So here's the Piero had developed a way to reach towards Celestia.
I'm holding in to go to the toilet really badly.
Period, the organization led by Roptatyr was
2 minutes.
a spacecraft carrying 2 beings from beyond Teyvat.
Okay.
So here's the theory. What if Roptatyr was involved in the summoning that brought the sibling to Conria?
Could be.
Piero's experiment and methodology was yoinked by Roptatyr. Maybe Roptatyr or researchers
I
under
can
the
see that.
Universitas Magistrorum understood the same basic technology and used it on a much bigger target, the Traveler's sibling. And if that's what happened, the timeline suddenly makes a lot more sense.
And then separate us while she ended up wanting to find us. That makes sense. Because she didn't know where we were ended up from what it looked like in this whole of it, in that kind of thing. So it makes sense to us. That actually makes really well. So I don't know if the whole theories make thingy, but that does make sense on how he, and he obviously saw how to do it because of the visions, etc.
The Traveler's sibling was pulled from the spaceship by Conria's summoning. That would explain why the sibling could later return to the ship from the outside to wake the Traveler. And it explains why the hibernation chamber was never opened. We finally have answers to mysteries Genshin has been sitting on for years, but almost every answer opens up an even bigger question. The Tsaritsa is preparing to overthrow the Heavenly Principles.
I cannot wait for that too. I mean, add 3 or 4.
And possibly
Suicide.
Descender. And Piero's experiments may have inspired the same technology that brought our sibling into to Conria. Most importantly, Paimon is no longer just suspiciously connected to Celestia. It's been confirmed she actually came from there. And if Snezhna's story really is building toward a choice between submitting to Celestia, replacing it, or transcending it entirely, then I don't think the Traveler is the only character we should be watching anymore. Because after everything we just learned, Paimon may end up being one of the most important pieces.
Snezhna seems to be like Paimon heavy lore, which I am actually happy for, because Paimon's not really got much lore or any lore at all, except from theory stuff. Yeah.
Of Genshin's entire endgame. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Super Minzlif, and I read the Genshin Impact lore, so
yeah, thanks, Minzlif. Isn't Minzlif's favorite character Dane? Okay, he's right here. Yeah, either way, really excited. Like, generally speaking, I'm pretty excited for Act 3 and 4. Need a toilet, so I'm pretty gonna wrap this video up pretty quick. Generally speaking, obviously, I'm happy that Paimon's getting a heavy focus story. Hopefully, a video will be linked in the description, so make sure to go check it out if you guys want to. There's the video, I'm gonna say it here. Either way, I'm really excited to learn more about Paimon in Act 3 and 4. Maybe we learn all about Rocketeer and the other sinners from Prospero. But I feel like if we learn more about them, it'll probably be at the end of Snezhna's stuff, where we want, like, if like the sinners have anything to do with it. I can see us asking Pereiro about it, or maybe Dane. Maybe Pereiro knows more about Rocketeer than Dane does, or the other sinners than Dane does. Either way, really excited. The camera's right there, need to wait really badly. So without further ado, she gets subscribe to it yourself, and bye guys.